Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco dish out on movies. The only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just it's just Marco here tonight. This is probably like one of the few reviews, if not like one of the only reviews that I've filmed at night. I think the only other one is Bliss. When I watched Bliss, I ran outside in like the middle of the night and filmed the review. That's how important this was to me. You should be thankful. You're getting special attention. You're gonna get some special attention from Marco. Oh. As you guys can tell, I am in a different mood. I am so angry that I am crying. I am crying tears of insanity. I am absolutely flabbergasted at what I just saw. American Horror Story Season 1. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this show. So, I should preface my review. I don't think I'll ever be this upset again. I am so angry and so upset. I'm not going to make any wild jumps because I don't want to, I'm exaggerating in terms of like what I would say, but I don't want people to think that I would actually do something. Like, I would just blow up a house. Like, that is how pissed off I am. A metaphorical house, obviously, Sorry about that. I'm a little stuffy. So, originally, I never watched American Horror Story before this month. And it's for a pretty good reason. When I was in school, I went to a small town school with lots of bitches. And these bitches were so bitchy that they have their own name. You call them the Beaver Creek Bitches. And they are probably some of the worst human beings on the planet next to sex traffickers and terrorists. And I'm serious, too. I mean, these girls are evil and terrible people. And that's a sidebar. And but anyways, when I was forced to ride on the bus for a number of years, and during some of those years, one of the evil things that these bitches would do was they would sit right behind me. I would sit in the very front seat. I used to sit in like the middle or the back, but after a while, I liked sitting in the front seat. I thought that it was nice to, like, get out of the bus as soon as possible. You know what I mean? Like, just have, like, the nearest exit. Like, oh my God, thank God I can get off the bus quickly. And so these bitches would sit right behind me. And they would talk all about American Horror Story. They would talk all about, what was that other show? House of Cards. And all these shows. And they would spoil all of them. They would they would just chit-chat about everything. And they ruined everything for me back then. And of course, I forgot about it because, I'm not going to remember every single little word that people have said. But I do have a great memory, and so that's why it upset me so much, because I have a really detailed memory. And so I'm so glad that I don't remember what these bitches said. And they would also, they just talked about American Horror Story, American Horror Story. They talked about it all the time. They would go into school. They would talk about it in school all the time. I was in art class one day, leaving art class, and these bitches came in, they're talking about, how would you rank the seasons of American Horror Story? And I was like, God, shut up about American Horror Story. Go watch something else. Go talk about it on your cell phones that you have. I didn't even have a cell phone until my last year of high school. These bitches had them, didn't even use them. And they'd talk all about, like, the hotel season. Oh, God. It was torture. Constantly. And another show they did that with was The Walking Dead, which I also postponed on watching until, like, I don't know, whatever. So I finally decided to watch it, and I'm now less upset, obviously, because I'm now going to be remembering the good parts of the season. So I watched season 1, Murder House, and I loved it. I just loved it so much, and I was like, oh my God, where has the show been all my life? Oh, okay, that was kind of gay. But it was just like a moment of, like, amazingness of, like, just discovering this show that, like, wow, I really missed out all those years. I should have been watching it and just ignoring what they would say. I tried to ignore them. I promised you they would chit-chat as loud as they could, and it was so annoying. But this show was just so perfect. And, I love the cast. I mean, let's start off with the cast. You got the main guy, Ben, and he was honestly one of my favorite characters. He was up there, he was kind of a dipshit, and he had an arc, though. He had a character. He was a character who's done bad things. He needs to redeem himself, and he needs to, keep the family together. And then you got Vivian, and I liked her quite a bit, and then I started to not like her, and then I liked her at the end. So it was kind of up and down for me with her, but she was still a really great actress, really good job. And then Violet, I think that I read that she was, like, Vera Farmiga's daughter, I think, and she did a really good job too. And then you had, of course, Evan Peters, who played Tate, and you got, like, Jessica Lange. Okay, let's talk about Jessica Lange. Jessica Lange, I don't know how old she is, but as soon as I saw her, I knew exactly who she was. She is one of the few actresses who, you can tell who she is even in 2021. Like, she just, oh my God, she was smoking hot. And to top that off, she's a fantastic actress. She gave an award-worthy performance, that I would say. She was just perfect. She was so villainous, and she really did a great job. Even with the shit at the end, she did a great job. And I was like, wow, like, she's really good. Like, maybe I should go back and watch some of her movies to see how good she was in those. And so that I can appreciate those. Because honestly, like, I was just so shocked just how good she was. The only thing I've ever seen her in was a Tootsie. And then, of course, Safi talked about the what was that movie called? The Francis movie. She said that movie was depressing, and I watched it, and I was like, this isn't depressing, it's stupid. That's my take for Francis. Just clip that out. Safi said Francis was depressing, but it wasn't. It was stupid. And then, who else? Oh my God, everyone in this cast was just so good. I loved every single one. The gay couple, I can't remember their names because they just kind of disappeared. And then, What was the other one? Harmony. I don't know. The girl that Ben slept with years ago. She was really good. She was an evil biatch in the end, unfortunately, because she started off like she had sort of like a sympathetic character, but then she turned completely evil. And who else? Oh yeah, Addie. Well, Addie was really good too, and it was sad because Addie, she dies halfway through. Spoiler alert! I mean, this show's old. Uh, and she disappears, but she was actually really good too. I really liked her, and I thought that, just everyone, just the maid. I mean, who is the actress who played that maid? She's really fucking good. I want to see her in more shit now. I want to see everyone in more shit. I want to see all these people. I just want to reach out my hands and give them a great big hug and say, hey guys, you guys are not hacks. You guys are not fucking sellout fake actors who can't act and they're activists and not really actors. You guys are real actors and you deserve to get roles in movies and shows so that we can actually have good entertainment and not shit with propaganda in it. So yeah, I just got to give a shout out to the whole cast. What a perfect cast, especially Jessica Lange. Now let's get into the plot, because I'm already 11 minutes in. Shit. I hope this won't be like an hour long, but it could be. It really could be. Like, that's how passionate I am about this season. It was perfect. It was like The Shining. Oh shit, I said that about season 10 too. Fuck. I guess everything's like The Shining, like you just see something, it's like, oh, that's like The Shining. That's like The Shining. Maybe it's because The Shining is one of my favorites, and so I just want to, picture everything as The Shining. Even though The Shining did not have Jessica Lange in it. And if you had had Jessica Lange in The Shining, it would have been way better. Stanley Kubrick. You should have waited and then hired her and then let Shelley Duvall live in peace. Okay, so the basic story is that you have this family and they move to this old murder house. Oh shit, I forgot about the best ones! The best ones in the cast! Mr. and Mrs. Montgomery. Oh, you got Dr. Montgomery, played by Emery. Remember that? Emery from Rose Red. And wow, he was just an awesome character. He was this evil character, but he was sad. He had a sad story. And then he became a ghost. And then in the future, it's like he's like always there to help, to the rescue. Like every single medical situation, Emery to the rescue. And he's badass. I mean, what a badass. What a Chad. And then you got his wife, played by Lily, and obviously I saw her in Tell Me Your Secrets, and she was so much different than in Tell Me Your Secrets. She's really good, and she had a very a mysterious type of vibe to her, and I promise there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just passionate, and so my passion is manifesting weirdness out of me. That's what always happens. Like, that's why I like to be negative a lot, because when I'm negative, I'm not so weird and I'm not so like bumbling and stumbling all over myself with weirdness. So a little behind the curtain. What was I talking? Oh, yeah, the Montgomerys, they were really good. They were probably like my favorite ghosts, just especially whenever Emery would come to the rescue. and he'd just come out there and he'd have his nurse with him and everything. Like, what a badass ghost. He's dead, but he's not taking any breaks. He's not letting eternity fly by and just, lie back and enjoy some ghost whiskey. He's working his ass off, and he needs to get recognized. They should give him some sort of a ghost award for helping people out, because he really did a good job. And I was like, especially the fact that he's working with 1920s medicine in the 2010s. What a badass. So sorry that I know he's also evil, but basically everyone in this show is evil in some way, and that's sort of the message of the. Okay, let's finally get to the story. Back to the story. I promise I'm not going to derail this again and just cause complete chaos. So this family, they move to this murder house, and they have no idea what they just got themselves into. They are trying to move on. They're trying to start this beautiful new start with, you got Violet, you got Vivian, and you got Ben. They want a new start. They want a fresh, nice, happy family. And they walk right into the hornet's nest, right into this bitch house, where you got a murderous ghost, you got burn victim ghost, you got every ghost you could think of. You even got a kinky rubber man who walks around ready to stick it in you without, caring who you are. Like, Rubber Man was probably my favorite character up until a certain point, and we'll talk about that too, because I am just waiting to talk about. Oh shit, that was that was a little too intense. I'm just waiting to to talk about Rubber Man, because he was so cool. He was so mysterious and scary and intimidating. The way that he would just walk into a room and you'd know that bitch would be dead if the Rubber Man is standing behind him. He was so cool. And so they're in this house and shit happens. That's the most basic summary of this season. Shit happens. The husband has a problem. There's tons of storylines I could get into. I'm really not going to. I don't really like doing those types of reviews where you just recap every single little thing. So I'm just going to talk about the ones that were most important to me, because the season had so many storylines that they went all over the place. It was fucking insane. It was ridiculous just how many, left turns they took, almost like how I've been doing in my review. And you had the story of, okay, Evan Peters as Tate. He was probably the best character for several episodes, because he was he protected them when that home invasion happened, and he protected them, and he, because he wanted to keep Violet safe. That was badass too. Tate to the rescue for once. So basically, so that he can kill as well. It was kind of like an excuse, hey, look, free kills. Even though it's why would you want to kill them inside the house? I get it, he quote unquote can't leave the property, but he could still take them outside the house and kill them in the yard, or almost kill them and then throw them in the street to let them get run over or something. Something. But he killed them in the house, and but his storyline was basically the typical, and I can see why those bitches like this show, because it was the typical, you have a bad boy, and the girl falls in love with the bad boy, and the bad boy's really bad, and she thinks that she's changing him, and she's turning him into a nice person, and he's not really a bad boy anymore, because this sweet girl is changing him. I fucking hate those types of stories. The Twilight type of bullshit. And so that's the story with them. But he's so good and he's such a cool character that I really didn't care. And there was a part where he's trying to save her, and it was really heartbreaking, seeing him. He was genuinely concerned about her, and just the fact that like a ghost wants to protect a human so much, it's really cool. And then of course they ruin that. And we'll talk all about that. And then what's another storyline that I really liked? Well, I liked everything with Ben, basically. I really liked the Halloween episodes when the gay couple comes over to help decorate, and then they have a fit about, like, they're not putting in enough effort, and they tell the owners to leave their own house. I mean, these ghosts were savage. I mean, they would just, like, get out. Even though it's their house, get out of here. And then they kick the gay couple out, and that was hilarious. And then later on, they're like she's trying to get rid of the gay couple, and it doesn't even work. And it's just, I loved all the stuff with them, with the gay couple. But the one thing that I didn't like was their backstory. I really didn't like their backstory of, like, he's cheating on the other guy, and he likes S&M. Like, that was just like, that was a shitty storyline. I really did not like that backstory. I felt like they were the only characters who didn't get a good backstory for them being a ghost. Being ghosts. And another thing I didn't like was the Black Dahlia. I just thought that was a complete weird and dumb thing to do. I just thought it made no sense to do that. It really didn't work. It didn't fit. It just felt like, what are we doing here? The girl from American Pie and American Beauty, she looks and acts nothing like Black Dahlia. I mean, come on. At least get an actress who is like Black Dahlia. Elizabeth Short, I mean. I shouldn't be calling her Black Dahlia. Fuck me, I shouldn't be doing that. That's mean and shitty. And another storyline that I liked a lot was the affair storyline. I ended up liking that a lot in the second half because it got really sad. She comes over, and then the burn face guy kills her. The burn face guy, he was a huge waste of time. His character was basically a red herring. Everything about him. He made up a fake story. There's all this confusion with him. And I was so glad when he went off to prison, because it's like, okay, finally, we can get rid of this pointless character who just, he ends up like doing nothing except for going to prison. So it's like, okay, thank God he's gone. But I really liked it, when she gets killed, because you really feel sorry for her. It's like, I really felt bad for her. And then the fact that she's going to be a ghost there, and then you got the maid, and I guess she's never going to be found, and just really, really sad. And lots of sadness this season. But it was really entertaining the whole way through, except for a couple of episodes. And let's talk about... Well, okay, am I done with the good stuff? Well, okay, I loved Ben, because I loved how he was this complicated character who had his ups and downs. He would do bad things, he would do good things, he was stupid, he didn't understand what was going on, because he's a therapist, so he's trying to make everything logical. And I really liked it when he finally came to his senses, and when he just kicked out the maid. He was like, I'm done with this shit. And I loved that episode with him doing that. And then the daughter, like, I wanted more of that in the final episodes. instead of what we got, which was probably okay. I haven't even gotten to the finale. Because the finale is going to ruin everything. It is going to make my review of the show look like a negative review, even though it's just the finale and then the Rubber Man episode. There were a couple of inconsistencies, like there was this thing where you couldn't leave the house or else you disappear and you go back to the house because that's where you died. Well, it's really weird because there's so many inconsistencies with that, so many plot holes. Violet, even after she's dead, and then Tate, they go out on a date. They go out in town and have a whole day. So I didn't understand how that worked at all. That was so stupid, and like just they were at the beach too. And it's like, how is that? And then you have the high school shooting victims too. What are they doing out on the beach? They're supposed to be in school where they died. What the fuck is that? And then they had this later thing where the daughter couldn't leave, and she was really sad. And it's like, you already left. You went on a date with the tape guy. And I just thought that was so stupid and just such bad writing. And then you had the fact that, wait, what was I going to say? Shit, I just forgot. I literally just had it. I hate it when that happens, especially as a reviewer who has to, I review everything improv. I don't have a script or anything. But let's talk about why the show was bad. It was bad because it had so many storylines. It had so many plot lines. All of them were trash in the end. All of them had terrible conclusions. All of them just, they didn't even bother ending a lot of storylines. It's like, at a certain point, it was like, okay, are we going to have ghosts move on? Are we going to have them get closure and move on? No, we're not. That's the conclusion. No. And I'm saying it in that tone, too. No. Like a Tim Curry. No. Oh, shit, that was terrible. It felt like such a big fuck you. These characters, it's like, when are they going to move on? Ghosts have to move on one way or the other, eventually. And so it's like, you're telling me no ghost has moved on. You're telling me there's nothing anyone could have done to make them move on, to help them. I really wanted to see that. I thought that would have been cool, a lot cooler than what fucking happened. That's for damn sure. In particular with the high school students, because in the final episode, I guess, Tate has some sort of an awakening where he finally admits that he did all these bad things. Because for a while, we thought that he couldn't remember. And I guess he was pretending. And, it's just really confusing. Ben says that he can't feel anything and he doesn't care. I don't know. I don't even know. That has to do with the finale. But I really wanted to see him tell the high school students why. Or just, have another confrontation. I wanted to see these storylines get endings. And these storylines, like, go somewhere besides just, all these storylines just hovered in thin air like ghosts themselves. Like, all these storylines died and became ghosts. That's how bad they were. Let's talk about one of the worst episodes. Well, okay, there's two bad episodes. Rubber Man and the finale. Sorry about that. Rubber Man really pissed me off because for the whole season, this Rubber Man character, he was built up to be this, like, epic character. And it was like, he was intimidating. You do not want to fuck with him. And he was really actually kind of scary, even to me. Even to someone who's seen tons of horror movies, there were some scary elements of this show. Like Rubber Man. Oh no! Rubber Man was Tate all along. Ha 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 ha! Fuck you. Seriously, why did they do that? What a stupid idea. Whose idea was that? I want them fired. I want them kicked to the curb. That was the most stupidest thing I've ever seen. That really pissed me off. The fact that this Rubber Man character, we could have gotten this epic backstory, this epic character, his own character, but no, he's gotta be Tate. Ugh. Stupid. What a stupid idea. What the, why? Another thing is the fact, okay, this is what I forgot. This is what I was going to mention earlier. I am sorry about all these left turns. Addie died in the street in front of her house. So, unfortunately, she's not going to be in the house. But the thing is it's like, can't Addie ever come and visit Constance in the street? Can't there ever be a scene where she goes out there and then Addie wants her to see her in the street and say, hi, have one little scene, even though Addie hates her and thinks she's an evil bitch like she is, Constance. Constance was a trash villain, by the way. We'll talk about Constance. The character, the actress did such an amazing job playing the character that I really didn't care. And she had some good villainous moments, I guess. Kinda. Not really. No, she didn't have any good villainous moments. So there was no villain in the show, basically. I mean, the villains were basically everyone. Like, everyone was their own villain. And the theme of the season was, people have to pay for what they did. People have to suffer the consequences. And by people, I mean the men. Because the men are the only ones... Oh shit, I see a possum. Oh fuck. Oh, look at that. Oh. Ew, it looks so gross. Ew, it's coming toward the car. Oh. Get away. Sorry about that. But, what was I just talking about? Shit. This show, it was such a disappointment in the end. Okay, consequences. All the men faced consequences, but all the female characters who did something bad, they never faced any consequences. Ever. None of the female characters. So, you either have a message of facing consequences for stuff you did, and you have it apply to everyone, or you don't have it apply at all because you're biased towards one side. None of the female characters face consequences for anything they do. And I'm not saying, like, there's a lot of them who did bad things. The majority was men who did the bad things. But, Constance was the main villain. Now let's get to the finale. Now, this finale, it started off pretty good because, okay, the possum's leaving. Thank God. That was creepy. It came out and then it just ran away. Hopefully it goes and eats some garbage somewhere. But it starts off and it's really, really sad because they killed off everyone. Now all that's left is Constance and Ben. You have one man who was bad, but he's trying to redeem himself. He redeemed himself already a couple of times, but he's trying. He really wants to be a good person and wants to change. And, he's such a great character. And then on the other side, you have Constance, an evil bitch, who doesn't want to change at all. And she doesn't care about anyone except herself. And so, on both sides, you have total opposite people. And you think, wow, this episode is going to be phenomenal. It is going to be, you have Constance versus Ben. You have the house. You have all these ghosts who haven't gotten closure and moved on. This is going to be epic. It is going to be the finale of the century. It is going to be a bloodbath of terror. It is going to be amazing. But no, of course not. We had to make a fucking bad finale so that Marco can be upset and mad, and people who liked it can get upset and think that Marco's just a jackass. And it's like, oh, great. Wow, thanks a lot. Because this finale was the worst television episode that I have ever seen. It is the worst finale that I have ever seen. It is the worst television ever. Everything, I take back every single bad thing I've ever said about every television show I've ever reviewed on this channel. And I point all of my negativity towards this fucking episode. This supposed finale, this season 1 finale is a giant pile of shit. And it starts off, you think it'll be pretty good, because Ben, he needs to redeem himself. And so he's got the baby that Tate produced with Vivian. He raped her, and he takes the baby back. And sorry, I think I'm gonna sneeze, so I'm warning you now. Vivian appears to him when he's gonna kill himself, and she talks to him and convinces him, get the baby and get the hell out of this house. And I thought, it's probably going to be a bloodbath. It's probably going to be a giant mess of shit in the end, with him like barely getting out at the end. And then we see like a flash forward, and we see that, he's moved on, and he comes back to visit the house with his son. And then they see like ghosts in the house, or something really fucked up like that, but really cool. But oh no, of course not. Of course not. And then the maid is like talking about how she's gonna help Vivian and the rest, that she's gonna help the baby get out. She's gonna help Ben get out. Oh no, of course not. Of course not. So what happens is Ben literally walks up the stairs. Two of the home invaders kill Ben. And then the mistress, Harmony, or whatever the fuck her name was, she helps kill him too. So, what the fuck? They literally just killed off the protagonist. And they just said, F it. They just said, who cares? Okay. We're just going to do the stupidest shit ever. We're just going to have it be just for shock value. And so he hangs on the chandelier. Constance comes and steals the baby back. What a shitty, horrible finale. Horrible. What a joke. This was pathetic. This is the stupidest writing I've ever seen. This is the stupidest. I can't even find words to talk about how terrible this was. I mean, you had the protagonist right there, and he didn't even get a chance. He didn't get a chance to redeem himself. He just gets killed. He just gets killed terribly. And so now it's just like, oh, he's a ghost now. And then after that, the story is, and keep in mind, the finale still, it's the finale! It's the finale! This isn't episode 8, this is the finale. And we're still messing around, and so they introduce a completely new family, and a new family moves in, and it's like, what the hell is going on? And so then the story becomes about Beetlejuice. Let's scare the new family out of the house. So then they scare them out, and it's goofball comedy. It's stupid. It's a joke. It's just a giant joke. Sorry, I just had an itch in my throat. Probably from all the yelling and angry voice mode that I'm in. It's just a huge joke, though. It is a huge, pathetic joke. And then after that, what happens? There's some stupid jealousy shit where Tate wants to kill the new teenage boy because he's jealous. And then, there's this confrontation between Tate and Ben. And, I thought that scene was pretty good. If you're in elementary school writing classes, that scene was horseshit. It was just stupid. It was just, what is going on? Like, this is the finale and nothing is happening. We're just having two guys standing in the living room talking to each other? What the hell? And all these ghosts, it's like, what are the ghosts doing? Why aren't the ghost characters anymore? Why have the ghosts all suddenly given up again? They had all these finales and they didn't know what to do. I mean, not finales. They had all these storylines. And they didn't know what to do with these storylines, so they just said, F it. That's what I think. I mean, it was just so awful. It was so horrible. Even the worst swear words in history can't describe how awful this finale was. And then after that, what happens? Constance, she takes the baby, and she lives happily ever after, basically. And so that's it with her. No consequences for the female character, only the male characters. She just gets to live on and just la 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 la. And then the ending with her is that her new son, or I guess grandson, obviously, but her new grandson, he kills the maid. Ha 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 ha. And that is the ending. What a giant piece of shit. And then, to make matters worse, in the regular house, you got the baby that was supposedly stillborn that was actually Ben's. And guess who's raising it? The ghosts! Ben, Vivian, and Violet are raising a baby and they're ghosts! That doesn't make sense. That is not plausible. They literally had an episode explaining that ghosts shouldn't be raising a baby. They literally devoted an entire episode to saying ghosts shouldn't be doing that. And they do it anyway. They have Christmas and they play Drummer Boy's song. And the maid's happy and the maid's the godmother. I mean, this is the finale that we get. This is American Horror Story. More like American Horror Story. More like American Fuck Story. More like American Kiss My Ass Fuck You audience story. This was a disgrace. This was such a huge mistake of an episode. I was flabbergasted. I was like, what the hell? How did these guys get season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10? These guys don't deserve anything for what they did in this season finale. This finale was a disgrace. They need to pay for what they did in this finale. They need to pay because they ruined it. They ruined it. They had the golden goose They had a story that was solid all the way through, and then they fucked it up. I mean, they did everything. They did the stupidest possible things I could think of. I thought, oh, maybe they could give that fucking baby to the black guy, because the black guy's been shooting blanks for years, and so they could give the baby to him, so that him and his wife could have a baby. But no, of course not. We gotta have the ghosts raise a baby. You know, just every stupid thing I could think of. There was nothing good. There was no drama. There was no action in this episode. I give this episode an F for fuck you. An F-. This is the worst TV show episode I've ever seen, and it was so bad that I was crying tears of misery and pain and tears of anger. That's how mad I was watching this finale. I was that mad. And if you see now, I'm going to actually post my reaction watching the finale at the very end. And I look so pissed. It's so funny. But I'm going to rate this now in terms of food, because that's sort of the whole point of my channel. I sounded so pathetic there. That's the whole point of my channel. I rate season 1, without the finale, I rate season 1 spaghetti and meatballs. And I know I've been giving that rating out a lot, but that's how much I loved this show. I gave every episode an A, except for the Rubber Man episode, and then the episode after that one I gave like a B something, and then the finale. But other than that, I gave every episode an A. That's how much I loved it. That's how much it meant to me. It was such an amazing show. It was such a great story. It was so mysterious and so dark and twisted and evil and horrific. And then they fucked it up. But for all that good, I give it spaghetti and meatballs. And the finale, I can only give the finale a big middle finger. I can't give it any food rating. There isn't a food gross enough to describe how bad this finale was. Like, you know, I know obviously some people could say, oh, Marco, you could rate it the raw brains that she ate in that episode. No, that's not gross enough. That there has to be, like, there is just something unspeakably gross that you know, doesn't exist, and it describes the finale. Death. If you could eat death incarnate, if you could take a big bite out of death and just go, that is the finale of this season. Death. What a horrible ending to an incredible show. It is sad because I'll probably never watch this again, even though I loved stuff in it. It's just that when you know that the plot goes to somewhere trash, you don't want to watch that ever again. You want to watch something that'll end up somewhere good, or somewhere, you know, satisfying at least. You know, they had a good finale going, and then they ruined it. So I could rewrite the finale in like a weekend. Like, that's how easy it would be too. That's another thing that pissed me off, because it felt like, okay, there's so many things you could have done in this finale. You have an incredible A+ cast, and you have a great story the whole season, and yet what you're doing is you're doing the stupidest things you could think of. And it's like they purposefully sabotaged this finale and made something that was so bad that it couldn't be described. So anyways, I will be continuing to watch this series, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because I really don't want to fall in love with another season and then see an F- ending. You know, I looked at IMDb, and, you know, all the finales don't have great ratings. You know, they all have kind of mediocre endings in comparison to the rest of the seasons. And it's like, you know, why? You know, if you don't know how to do a finale, then hire someone who does know how to do a finale. Or, you know, consult a friend. Get a friend who knows how to do finales and say, hey, Vince Gilligan, you know, how do you do finales properly? And Vince will be like, well, let's start off with, well, we're not gonna do the retarded thing by killing off the main character at the beginning of the episode. You know, that's kind of retarded. Okay, Ryan, we are gonna make a good finale, and we are not gonna disappoint the audience that has invested 10 weeks into the show. You know, that's what Vince would say, and then he would write like a golden finale. Not that all of his finales are perfect, but just, you know, it's better than this shit. That's for damn sure. So, anyways, I recommend not watching the show because of the finale. Do not invest your energy into the show and then let the finale disappoint you. You know, it is not going to be a good experience. It is going to be an experience that you'll be upset that you spent all that time watching, and then the ending, someone shit on your face. Ryan Murphy did, and Jessica Lange. He really wasted her in the finale. I mean, she got to get away with everything for some reason. You know, everyone else faced consequences. The burn face guy, he sent himself to prison for a crime he didn't even commit. Ben faced consequences. He got killed. The son is going to face consequences because he's probably going to grow up and commit suicide or get killed and become a ghost. So he's going to face he's going to face consequences. Every man, Tate is going to face consequences. He's never going to be with Violet again because, quote, Violet can't forgive him all of a sudden. And, all the male characters, for some reason, are the ones who had to face consequences, while all the females just got to walk off into the sunset. Especially Constance, who was the villain. And, she wasn't really a great villain because she was hardly villainous the whole season. I mean, she hardly did anything. The more villainous guy was probably the burn face guy, because he just straight up killed Harmony, or whatever her name was, with a shovel. Or Harriet, what was that? What was her name? She had some nice eyes. Like, whenever she was on screen, it's like you're just drawn to her eyes, and it's like, oh, okay. And she was pretty good. She would have made a much better villain. And in fact, in the final episode, she was villainous. And it was painful too, because it was like they keep on forgetting about characters. They would forget about storylines and characters until they were convenient for the plot. And so that's why I'm saying, why did you waste the finale? Because you forgot about all these people and all these stories over and over again. And it seemed like, okay, are you doing this so you can get somewhere good? No. What a big F you. F you too. Thanks a lot for this season 1. What a huge disappointment. Please like this video if you liked it. If you didn't, give it a dislike, because honestly, I loved this season until that finale. And I would have even forgiven that Rubberman twist, which pissed me off too. But I just can't. I hated that finale, and so I'm sorry. If you liked it, then that's cool. I hope that you liked it if you watched it, because, nobody should have this type of this type of experience, watching something and being this upset. Nobody should have to feel like that. And then comment, tell me what you thought of season 1, and I could do another hour talking about this. That's how bad it was. And then subscribe to our channel if you want to see what I think about the future seasons of American Horror Story. Because if this finale was bad, I can only dream of the finales that are coming up, including, even like season 10. Oh God. Ugh. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.